Hey guys, TechNinja117 here with a new game that we found. Actually, Zamman found it, but I'm going to be doing a presentation for it because he's actually busy playing around with a whole bunch of mods for it and everything. But I figured we should probably start vanilla first. So here we are with Kerbal Space Program. It's a very, very new game, heavily in development. It's alpha version 0.15.2. Going to be updated a lot and frequently. What I think the next update's coming out with some extravehicular activity, which is gonna be great, so we can do spacewalks and stuff. I have been playing around with this game a little bit, and I thought it was really, really interesting. I used to do model rocketry, and now it's time for me to do big rocketry on a computer, because I mean it's kind of cost prohibitive to be doing it in real life. So this is our little space base here. So we got our vehicle assembly building and our spaceplane hangar and our tracking station and our launch pad. But first off, of course, we need a spacecraft. Let me clear this out here real quick because we don't need to be starting with one thing that I've already done. So let's start with just our basic capsule. Great little capsule. And let's put that down on top of it, which is a parachute, which is always handy. And a decoupler. Excuse me. You know what? Let's do it this a little bit different. Excuse me. Okay, so pretty much, I mean, you definitely need a capsule to put everybody in. You definitely need a parachute to return the people down to Earth. And this little thing is going to be separating our stages so we can actually, like, do that. This thing here is for outer space control. It's an RCS module. And to go with that, we're going to need some of these things. Some thruster blocks. Oh, and there's another great control on here. Now, I could take 4 of these and place them manually, and it would take me forever and probably not work very well. Or I could use the symmetry selector up here and do anything all the way up to what I think it's 8, 8 symmetry. So I can just go ahead and throw these here then, and not have to really worry about them. Because now they're going to be equally spaced, they're going to do equal thrust, all sorts of fun stuff. It's going to be great. Alright, so now what I need, some sort of stability. There's a couple different modules right now. Like I said, this is very, very much in development. Not a whole lot of, not a whole lot of options presently, but hey, they work. So we got that, and we're going to make ourselves a little service module here, because that's probably a good idea. All right, sorry there. I got something stuck in my throat probably. But let's just slap a couple fuel tanks on. And okay, now there's only 3 engines available right now in the vanilla version of this game. One's your kind of big daddy liftoff launch engine. There's kind of like another little second stager, and your tiny little I'm in space, I just need to putter around engine. So of course this is going to be my second stage, so I'm just going to slap one of those on there. And yeah, so then I need one more little decoupler. And now I've tried this, and one rocket engine ain't gonna lift this whole thing. So we need to, I'm gonna put on 3, just because it's so much more fun looking. And it seems like it works, for me at least. Now, of course, as with any space program, your first goal is to make sure that you can actually launch the thing you're building. And second off would be orbital capability, which will be great. Now, of course, we're just going to be focusing on like basic rockets right now. Now, I'm adding on a whole lot of fuel tanks because you want to actually be able to like make sure it gets out of atmosphere. Anywho, though, going to be excuse me, making some reusable vehicles sometime in the future. I've had some horrible, horrible mishaps with those. I'm pretty confident I'm gonna have a bloopers reel on this, because it's just too sad, I guess, for all of the poor little Kerbals who have already lost their lives in my space program. However, since I wasn't recording at that point, we're gonna start the death counter with this series, and hopefully won't be very high. Not entirely sure. Now, a lot of times rockets like to bend and flex in flight, just because they're long and thin, got a lot of power. So we're just gonna try and make them not as flimsy, I guess, would be the good word there. So now we got that. All right, so we got struts going up and down, and let's add some fins too, because we're gonna need. Oh, I can't do the symmetry on these. Oh, that stinks. Oh no, wait, maybe I just need to be on 3. No, I can't. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, then I guess I'm gonna have to apply these one by one. So now you get to see how tedious of a process this is. And I hope I get them on right, because if I don't, then I could end up sending more poor Kerbals to their death. Which I guess I guess I'm okay with by this point, because I've accidentally harmed so many of them. But you know, it's never good to cause harm to fellow Kerbals. But let's see, threw that on there. All right, I hope that's good enough. It seems decent. Yeah, that's pretty decent. All right, and now let's throw some canards on, because we're gonna need some other sort of stability control, and I can actually bump this up to the symmetry thing now. So let's do that, so that way we got some control that we don't waste, that we're not wasting rocket fuel for. There we go, if I could speak today. All right, and next thing that we need is a name. So let's go ahead and name it, if I didn't have caps lock on, the Ninja Mark 1. All right. Save it, and let's go launch this thing and see if it flies. So I know this is a rather lot of rocketry stuff strapped onto this for the first spacecraft. But like I said, I did do a little bit of this previously. Kind of learning from a couple mistakes that I made, and like I said, there's probably going to be a bloopers reel, because some of them are rather hilarious. Anywho, let's go ahead and see if we can get Shirley Nelwig and Marley Kerman into space here. This is your interface when you're launching your rocket. See here, I got mine on the launch pad with the gantry behind it. Got your astronauts down here. They have reactions as to what you're doing with the spacecraft and how the spacecraft's performing. This down here gives you relative speed over the surface or in orbit. You have a throttle meter, G-force meter. You don't want to kill them by putting it up here. Huge gimbal ball. A few different marks on that that'll go over. And as you can see, we have yaw, pitch, and roll control on the bottom here as well. You can see my canards moving as I'm doing this. But that's going to definitely help us control the rocket. Now, a couple of those modules that I put on earlier, you saw that they were the SAS, which is kind of an automatic stability system. You can see it up here freaking out because it doesn't know what it's doing presently. And then there's also the RCS, which is the rocket version of that. I'm not going to activate both of those at the same time right now because I'd be wasting all of my RCS fuel, which would be very sad. And then over here you can kind of see the staging. So all this stuff's going to go off first, and then it's going to separate, and then all this stuff's going to go off. So hopefully that's in the right sequence. If it's not in the right sequence, terrible things happen, and Kerbals die. A lot. Alright, so now that we got some of those basics done there, let's go on ahead and launch these puppies. Now, I'm really kind of hoping this isn't going to be too loud, because I know I did do a test recording, and it didn't seem like it was that bad. But you know, with YouTube, stuff kind of ends up being not as good. So we got a nice, pretty night launch, and let's do this thing. So and launch. Right, it gets off the pad. We can activate SAS once we're off the pad, so that way the control surfaces didn't totally freak out while we're on the ground. And hopefully this isn't too stinking loud. Now, if I get out a little bit, it's not as loud. So I'm just going to sit out here for this portion of the flight, because I do have 3 pretty powerful engines on the bottom of this thing. You can see the SAS freaking out down here right now, trying to make sure this thing is going to be nice and stable. You see the gimbal's waving a little bit. I found out to kind of stop the gimbal from waving, you turn off SAS a little bit. It does get you out of pitch a little bit, though. So it's really kind of a 6 of one, half a dozen of the other trade-off. There's my first rocket ever, Kerbal 1. Took a quick little pop gun flight from the launch pad over to the middle of a bay. There's some other failed concepts. Atlantis, you know, as you can see, it's at the bottom of the sea, visiting Atlantis. Atlantis Echo, littered around. The Atlantis series wasn't a very good rocket. I'll probably launch some of those off. And that was actually one of my first failed attempts at a recoverable spacecraft. I'll have to show you that too. That was rather hilarious. Alright, so as you can see, we're burning through fuel. We already dropped 1 set of tanks on this. We didn't drop it. They're still attached to the rocket, as you can see. But There's already been one set that's been gone through. We have one more set left, and we're approaching 10,000 meters, which is going to be great. Have really good indicated vertical speed, which means that we definitely have enough thrust on this rocket, which is a great thing to see and hear, because when you have enough thrust, it kind of brings a tear to your eye, and as your rocket just slowly plummets back down to Earth with a huge flaming tail coming from it, doing nothing. Yes, I have experienced that. Maybe I'll show it to you. I don't know if I want to embarrass myself that badly. Anywho, let's go ahead and time warp it up here real quick. You can only go to time warp 2 while in the atmosphere, which kind of stinks, but it works nonetheless. Kind of really handy when you're careening towards a planet and you don't notice it's upcoming and you're not crashing into the planet at 1,000 times speed. As you're noticing, the graphics aren't the best presently, but like I said, it's an alpha. Most of this stuff's probably placeholders. Being a dev myself, I can kind of understand that most of this stuff isn't final. Oh, and in my random talking, I have totally missed my rotate point, which was about 20,000 meters, but it seems like the rocket's taking care of that just fine by itself. All right, and okay. Jettison the first stage and take the second stage out of here. Throttle it back a little bit. Don't need all that thrust because I am out of the atmosphere. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out of the atmosphere. Coming in a little closer to the rocket. You can see my debris falling. Ninja Mark 1 debris going away. Let's see. We're going to want to pitch this thing over and get it into some sort of a reasonable orbit. Or attempt to get it in some sort of reasonable orbit. As you can see, I do have some capsules that are orbiting presently, but this is my current flight, and as you can see, my arc is kind of moving right now because I kind of pointed myself in a different direction, and I need to kind of get myself going around the planet instead of away from it. So let's do that. Now, Zaman was trying to explain some of these marks on the radar, or the gimbal to me. I'm not entirely sure what they mean. There's a couple that I do, and I'll explain them to you when I see them, but I don't know what this big purple thing, magenta thing's doing down there. Anywho, all that I do know is that we are going into orbit, and I'm going to throttle back, actually, until I just about hit my apex here. Because that's actually how you get into orbit. You don't just kind of thrust and go for it. You got to kind of feel it. You know, and because if I just kind of kept thrusting and going out there, I would go like this huge orbit that I got going on here. Because, you know, you're thrusting away from the planet, and then it's going to pull you back in with this gravity and come back. You have a huge elliptical orbit. What I want to achieve is something a lot closer to this. This is off-center a little bit, the Orion 1 here. But that's actually closer to where I want to be. Now, I'm going to be talking through my apogee here, which probably isn't a good thing. So now we're going to pop this thing up to full throttle, and now you're going to be seeing this line moving in a hurry. Look at that thing. Bam. Alright. Now that's going to go on ahead and expand around the planet, and yeah, past my apogee, but I still should be expanding this, but I'm not presently. Oh, I'm out of engine. Yeah, always make sure you have an engine when you're attempting to expand your orbit. Probably be helpful. Anywho, now we're expanding the arc again. Probably should have checked my fuel level before I actually did that. But as you can see, we're kind of extending it, and instead of the apogee getting further from the planet, we are instead keeping that about in the same place and opening up the circle the other way. So that's actually what we really wanted to be doing in the first place. So hopefully we're going to be seeing an orbit very soon here. Kind of looks like we are. Let me just make sure my guys got some fuel. Alright, yeah, they do. Alright. We should achieve orbit on this flight, which is kind of awesome. Makes me rather happy that I can actually just kind of build a rocket that achieves orbit. Alright, so now we're going to start seeing the line pop out the other side of the planet and see our perigee coming in orbit. And there we go. Now we actually have perigee. And it's kind of accelerating away from the planet, but not as fast as our apogee presently. So we're going to want to... Oh, we have no more fuel. So, alright, we're going to have a wonky orbit on this flight. I probably didn't have enough fuel to get into a good orbit And with all my talking, I kind of missed the point where I should have been burning, and then my rocket ran out of fuel. So I definitely missed the point where I should have been burning. Probably because I'm a derp and I don't pay much attention. So it's going to come crashing back to Earth, and we're probably going to clip the atmosphere coming back around. So this orbit on this spacecraft is going to eventually decay, and it's going to go ahead and fall into some ocean somewhere on this planet, hopefully. And if not, it's going to crash into land, and three more Kerbals, shall I say, will have lost their lives in my space program. Because as you can see, we're coming back in right now. And I'm just going to leave this stage attached right now, just for the sheer fact that it has RCS on it. And it's going to allow me to kind of control and stabilize my spacecraft as I kind of come through. Now I'm definitely going to hit the atmosphere on this side. Yeah, there we go. Hit the atmosphere at 60,000 meters, or 65 and change. And this is definitely going to be slowing me down here, especially once I hit the bottom of this orbit. And I have no more fuel. Now is probably as good a time as ever to go ahead and separate. Pretty good clean separation. And then rotate the capsule around. And okay, now you can see here there's this little plain looking thing with an X in it. That's the exact opposite heading of where I'm at right now. If I tip around there, that little plain looking thing is the heading I'm on. So if I'm pointing that way, I'm going forward. If I'm pointing that way, I'm going backwards. So that's exactly where I want to be actually right now. And of course I'm controlling this on the keyboard, so it's kind of touchy. Now they don't have any like heat or anything factored in for re-entry right yet, but they're going to be adding that in, so it's going to be a much more difficult proposition to actually land on the planet. I'm actually rather looking forward to it. But as you can see, I'm slowing way down, and you can see my points moving rather rapidly around the planet. And as you can see now, my orbit's finally decayed to the point at which I'm going to be crashing probably into this bay in front of me because I'm slowing down so much. You can see the line's still collapsing in on itself. I'm kind of hoping I'm going to hit the bay, because if not, landing could be rather sketchy. Yeah, it seems going to make it into the water, which is great. Unfortunately, it's not like I have actually mission plans for these things. I just kind of shoot them off, and this is where they land. It's Kerbal 5. Alright, and the Ninja Mark 1 is going to be landing in this body of water, which is great. I'm not sure what that is. Probably just reflection or something, or that's where the sun is. I don't know. Like I said, game's not finished, especially the graphics. But you can kind of see that even just the placeholder graphics are at least decent. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do for their actual graphic load. Right now you're going to start hearing the wind rush by as we get into the lower atmosphere. And yeah, here we go. And we're gonna be landing. I'm gonna pop the chute in a second here, hopefully. And pop it. There we go. Alright, now the chute's gonna drag behind and freak everybody out, and then it's finally going to pop open when it feels like it. At about 400 meters. There we go. Alright. These guys look very awake and attentive. Alright. I should go check out the FAQ and the wiki and figure out what these marks are. As soon as I land this, I'll go do that and be right back. Yay, splashdown, no one died. They're all happy they didn't die. Alright, so we're going to end flight and go back to the vehicle assembly building, and I'm going to go check on that stuff real quick. And alrighty guys, and I'm back as promised. I couldn't find anything on the wiki about that promo marking or anything. However, I did check the volume, and it seems okay-ish. I'm really hoping that no one's going to come and like chew my head off because my volume sucks. Anywho, I decided I wanted to add a little bit more thrust. Because, hey, who can go wrong with more power, right? And we're going to do that by adding on a couple solid rocket boosters to this thing. It's going to be kind of awesome, I hope. And if it's not, then, yeah, blood. Blood on our hands. It's going to be pretty terrible. Alright, somehow I don't think those are attaching right. Let's find some other way to do it. I wonder how I could best attach rockets onto this thing. More rockets. Maybe if I just kind of did them out like that. That might work. If I just did 6 more rockets facing right out, that might work. Get me off the launch pad a little quicker. Might be a little fun. In this way, I won't actually have to burn my liquid engines until I get up a little ways. That could be fun, because I'm going to make these solid rocket boosters. Yeah, I like that. Look at that. Pretty stuff. Alright. Alright. Let's take me a second to attach the last few of them here. And let's see. There's that. And there's that. Alright, now I think I want to put nose cones on them, because it'd be fun. So let me throw some nose cones on these things. Let me see, can I actually do symmetry here? No, it's not going to let me, because I attached them all singles. Alright. This will go much quicker than attaching those, because attaching these things to hard points is kind of a touchy, tricky thing. I've had it where they didn't attach right, and they fell off and blew up, and just all sorts of really nasty, bad things that you really don't want to happen. Alright, so you guys remember how I was mentioning that you got to make sure your staging is right. Okay, well, as you can see over here, all these guys are going to be burning, and then they all decouple. So what I want to do is move this stage in between the two, so I can choose when to key in my liquid engines at any point, because I'm going to want those burning before these guys decouple, or else these guys might go wild and crash into my rocket, and then everything blows up, and it's not a good day. So, let's give this a shot. I may or may not want to come back in and add some more stabilizers or something like that. Anywho, this is a good time to rename it to the Ninja Mark II. And save this thing. Yeah, let's go ahead and launch it. And unfortunately, guys, I do believe this is going to be my last launch for this episode, just because we're kind of coming up a little long there. It's coming up to about a good 20-30 minute mark right now. This is the Ninja Mark II. It's going to be lifting off here in a moment, and here we go. Forgot to turn on my SAS, but hey, we're alright. Alright, so I'm going to turn on my main engines in a moment when I'm partway through this solid rocket booster burn. Oh wow, that's really, really pitching, and I'm probably making a lot of noise right now. So let me go ahead and turn on my mains. Now those are on, and now my next sequence should be the separation of these SOPs. Yep, there they go. Alright. Nice clean detachment, and we're going. We're cooking with gas right here. Heck yeah. Alright. The nice part is we're not even through one tank of fuel on this first stage yet. So this should be a pretty good launch. Definitely going to get into orbit this time instead of kind of floating around and crashing back into the planet. Everything can always be solved with a little bit more thrust, right? Alright. So let's go ahead and time warp it up. And hopefully I'll be getting there soon. Oh, it looks like it's about to thunderstorm by my house again. So I'm hoping this video doesn't cut off abruptly for the whole fact that there may be a power failure. Because you guys know how those lovely things go. Just kind of creep up on you randomly and don't really tell you when they're coming. It'd be nice at least if they call first. As you can see, one of my guys is like freaking out, like just totally losing his shit. The one guy is rather unhappy, and the guy in the middle is kind of looking kind of Jebediah, the good old Jebediah Kerman. Actually, this is one of the main Kermans, I guess. Because the whole backstory to this is that there is one kind of rich family that wants to send Kerbals to the moon, and the Kermans are the ones that are doing so. As we get up through the atmosphere here, I want to turn on my RCS. Oh, look at that. That looks so pretty. It's a nice sunrise. Turn on the SAS module here real quick. Alright, stage 2 can go on ahead and fire, and we're definitely getting into orbit right now. Yeah, we are. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a check at this, and now that we're kind of out of danger of falling back into Earth, I'm going to go cut that. And we're we're going to go and gently fly up towards the apogee here. Alright, and now we're almost there. So I want to kind of make sure that we are going to be pointing in the direction that we wish to be going. Which is about right there. A little far, but let's see if I can bring that back around. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and start our burn back up. We're going to go back to the map, and you're going to be seeing this line going out. You see how this arc is expanding? Once again, I've already kind of explained how we're doing this, and hopefully, let's go ahead and put the time warp up a little bit. Set line going nuts there. Alright, now hopefully we actually get an orbiting spacecraft this time. And I think I may try and end this episode off with a catastrophic failure of sorts, because it's not really that hard to kind of get those in this game. Okay, so now that's kind of going out of control that way, so I need to cut engines. And aim towards the planet. Oh my, loads of thunder going on outside right now. And I've totally just screwed myself real quick, so hold on, let me turn my craft back around. And let's stabilize, aim for the back of the planet here. It's kind of a little difficult remembering which way your craft is oriented. Alright, and we're going to give it another burn here to try and accelerate us around the edge and not crash into the planet. Oh, and that stage is out of stuff, so let me get this stage going here. So you can see that's expanding, however, we're not quite getting where we need to go. So, turn that module off and kind of tilt us out this way a little bit, and hopefully we can start widening our orbit. Because if not, we're going to end up crashing into the Earth, and I was really kind of hoping I wouldn't. Loads of thunder. I'm kind of hoping that we're not going to get cut off here. We might. We just might. And I don't think I'm going to achieve orbit on this flight, because it seems like this engine is doing it for me. It's not at this altitude. So I burned a little bit too much fuel, but hey, you know what? It's a lot closer to orbit. You see how close that line is to popping out. We'll see if we can get it. Let me see if I can reorient myself a little bit more to try and get an orbit in. Try and pop that line out the back of the planet. It's almost there. It's almost there. I'm going to have an absolutely horrible orbit, though. You know what? I'm not going to orbit this time. It's just not. It's not happening, guys. Because I think, yeah, I've collided back. So I need to separate my craft. Definitely wasn't a clean separation because I definitely didn't disengage the engine. But I can do that and slow myself way down. So unfortunately, the flight of the Ninja Mark II wasn't orbital either. But as promised, I do believe I'm going to have a catastrophic failure to end this episode off. Let's see if I can go a little faster in on this. Oh my, yeah. Loads of thunderstorms coming in. It's been so hot here in Cleveland lately, the last couple days. It's like, 90s. So I mean, we had this coming. It was due. It was due to us. So okay, we're coming into the atmosphere. Two guys are totally horrified. One guy's happy. It always seems like the middle guy is kind of happy. So kind of facing right down our vector, like I said. Now, the addition of heat here, the next or one of the coming updates is probably going to really make this difficult. For the whole fact that you're going to have to worry about your angle coming through the atmosphere and everything, so that's going to be interesting. But as for right now, don't really have to totally worry about that. I'm happy my parachute didn't rip off in the atmosphere, though. That would have been terrible, because then these three fine gentlemen would have been dead. Alright, so as soon as we land this, it'll hopefully be total catastrophic failure time. I'm just going to rotate this around, just for fun. Look at that gimbal go. Woo! Alright, this will splashdown, and we're going to end the flight. And let's go to the Space Center, because I think I'm going to go and try and use one of my space planes that is absolutely terrible. What's this autosave ship? I don't even know what this is. Oh, this one. Okay, this will be great. Alright, this is the Kerbal 1, and we're going to launch it. It's going to be absolutely horrific, I promise. Look, it's listing lazily to the side. Alright, here we go. Start it up. Alright. These guys are totally worried. That's okay, because I am too. This thing is definitely not a good spacecraft. Or, you know, normal craft. There's so much thunder outside my window. Oh gosh. Here we go. Here we go. We're lifting off. Oh god. We're not lifting. Oh Jesus. Oh god. Oh. They're dead. Okay. Well, that was your horrific failure for this episode. And, other than that, this is TechNinja117. It'll be signing off. Keep an eye out for more mod spotlights. I did add some mods onto our server, so we'll be highlighting some of those. And definitely keep your eyes open for this. This is a great game. I'll have a link to it in the description of this video. It's great. It's $15 to help support it, and it pre-orders it for you. So if you just remember, just like Minecraft, actually, when that came out, there was a pre-order system with that, kind of working the same way here. It gets you all the updates automatically as well, so you don't have to go looking for them. Anywho, definitely kind of getting bad outside, so I'm going to go ahead and get off here. This was TechNinja117 with Kerbal Space Program, and hey there, guys. Just kind of noticed that my computer did actually kind of cut out there at the end of that, so just finishing up the recording here. I know there's no video, but we're just doing it audio-wise, and just wanted to remind you guys that the link to the website for this great game is going to be in the description, and as always, have fun and good creeping.